Previously on Libel the Bible.
Murder in Queens.
DeSantis is a cuck.
Barcodes on priests.
The Philistines attack.
The Israelites lose.
The Ark gets pressed into service.
The Ark is immediately captured.
The Philistines get radiation sickness.
Eli and his sons are punished by Yahweh.
The Ark is returned.
Yahweh slaughters randoms.
And now, episode 74 of Libel the Bible.
I think the question, Scott, that everyone is asking is, can we keep it going?
Keep what going?
Our lauded, acclaimed show.
Oh, shit. Why couldn't we keep it going? We can keep it going.
I messed it up.
All right, you want to
I
start
kind
over?
of expected you... No, I don't want to start over. I kind of expected you to know what I was talking about, and then because you didn't, like I tried to explain it, and I explained it improperly. So let's start over, okay? You ready?
Wait, before we do that.
All right, no,
Fine,
not
fine.
before.
Go ahead. You're the alpha, right? You're the alpha. Go
Scott.
ahead. We'll just go ahead.
Do you think that we can keep up this pace?
Oh,
of
fuck
just
yeah.
putting out killer episode after killer episode? That's really the question I'm asking.
Is there a time frame where
We're
put
off
out-
to a bad start, Scott. I mean, really.
Yo, man. All right. Yeah. Okay. Nod if you want me to say yes, and shake your head if you want me to say no.
Nah, go ahead. Everyone's interested in your opinion.
Yo, man. Yes, I think we can. I think we can keep it up.
You think so?
But I'm not really sure. Have we reached the point where we're trying to keep it up, or have we reached the point where we're
Or you
delivering
think we're
good
still like
episodes?
climbing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're still climbing, man.
Okay.
I don't think we've reached.
So
our
you
peak.
don't think we can keep it up?
Nah, we can if we get there.
So it seems like you have no opinion at all.
I don't even know why the fuck I'm here.
All right. I'm Rusty,
I am Scott.
and this is Libel the Bible, and no witticism, no rhyme.
You jumped in
I
right
stepped
after
on
me.
it.
You kind of stepped on it.
I
but,
stepped on it.
I'll
God
do it again.
damn
Why
it.
don't you say
All
your
right,
name
no.
first?
I'm Rusty.
I am Scott, your wrangler of unicorns.
That's what you had me like stop for? You're
No,
wrangler.
you stopped. I didn't have you do anything, man. You chose to.
It didn't even rhyme.
None of my shit rhymes. I rhymed once.
What are you talking
Not
about?
once. That was last week I rhymed, and that was
No,
somebody else's
I'm pretty
rhyme.
sure you rhyme every week.
No way, man.
Right. Well, the audience should let us know.
Yeah, and that rhyme last week wasn't mine, so I don't want to be accused of biting. You know how that goes down in the streets.
You don't want to be a poser, right?
Word.
Because these streets, man.
So, Russ, do you feel like we are delivering hit after hit? Is that how you're feeling? You feeling good about this?
I'm feeling like this is episode 74. We're starting with 1 Samuel 7. Last episode, we did 1 Samuel 3 through 6. And in my opinion, it was the best episode of our podcast, the whole series.
I'm going to tell you this. I did not listen to it yet. I got busy. You know, I'm always like a week behind. But I can believe you because I remember walking away from that episode feeling really good, feeling really happy, and remember that feeling lasting a couple of days at least.
Yeah, it was a good time recording for sure.
And I think the key was like it seemed like, if I recall, there was much more rusty laughter in that episode than most episodes.
I know. So Scott thinks that I was on the proper dosage of gummy. And I keep explaining to him it doesn't exactly work like that. There's a lot of variables.
Is it the variation in the gummy you're taking?
It's everything. It's the entire physiology of what did I eat? When did I eat it? How did my body process what I ate? It's a whole bunch of different things.
So we're up to episode 74. We might plateau unless we take a hard look at like your conditions. Like maybe we start keeping a journal of like when you've eaten, when you've slept, when
Scott's about to turn me into like Drago from Rocky IV. Like he's gonna hook me up to computers. Like he's gonna monitor everything.
And we find out how well you hit, and we'll feed it into a computer, and it'll figure out like what you need to do, man.
Scott, I appreciate this, but I would focus on myself if I were you, all right? Think about the things that you could do.
Right? I can come up with these ideas to make you a better podcast partner.
That's fair, Scott. That's fair.
Yeah, everything I do is fair, man.
So what's up?
Nothing. I got nothing this week.
You got nothing this week?
Nothing. What's going on? I will say this. Ron DeSantis has announced his presidential run.
In the worst possible way.
In the worst possible way. We'll get to that in a second. But what stuck out to me was he went back to calling himself DeSantis, not DeSantis.
So for those listeners who didn't hear the previous episode, why don't you elaborate?
I came across some information that his wife did not like him saying DeSantis.
I came across some information. Like you met someone in an underground parking garage, and they were like, "Here's the folder the files that you wanted." I came across some information. You read an article.
Well, probably not. Read? No. I probably saw something on something.
Inside edition.
Yeah, probably.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You came across some information.
And he announced, and apparently he used to always refer to himself as DeSantis, but his wife urged him to change it to DeSantis for whatever reason. And being, the beta that he is, he, of course, listened to her and he changed it. Then he apparently got really embarrassed after everybody heard our podcast last week because I called him out on it. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, now he's back to DeSantis.
Right.
Honestly, for me, that shows even less fucking backbone.
That he's DeSantis.
Like, he just swings in the wind. Like, fucking make up your mind and fucking stick to it, man. I don't mind you growing as a person, but grow because you've walked down a path and it made you grow. Not, bullies are slapping you around and you're like, like, that's what he is, man.
I feel like the more he's in the national spotlight, the more of sort of budget he begins to appear. Like, at first, I think a lot of people thought, like, the national stage, once he hits the national stage, he was going to skyrocket. He was going to be the presumptive, like, nominee for the presidency on the Republican side. And the more he is in the public limelight and the more the national press covers him, the more incompetent he's starting to appear to be.
That's nice. I like it. Yeah. I wonder if he's going to start overhand holding his wife's hand when they walk down the street.
That's another thing Scott talked about.
Yeah, there's certain ways, like...
I feel like you're very obsessed with Ron DeSantis, or as Donald Trump calls him, DeSanctimonious.
The meatball Ron is my favorite. It's like so lowbrow insulting.
Yeah. And now that I learned that he's Italian, that's kind of racist, meatball Ron.
Yeah, you're right. Ronzoni Ron. Yeah.
So during that discussion, by the way, of DeSantis and his name change, I made a joke that he's like a soy boy beta cuck.
Right.
And you were like, soy boy, you're insulting our listener. And because your immediate reaction to any joke that I make is to try and turn the audience against me. So you immediately jump into you're like the white knight and I'm like the piece of shit. And you're going to point it out to the audience to get them on your side, right? Don't think I haven't noticed in the last 73 episodes. So you had said, soy boy, that's one of our listeners, and why are you dissing him? And then I had a whole long explanation about why I think he calls himself soy boy. Soy boy reached out to me.
Oh, okay.
And he let me know that I'm correct.
Oh. That's it. You're correct.
He said, oh my God.
What is with you, man?
Shut up. He said,
yes, sir.
He's listening to Bert Kreischer on Rogan, and they just started talking about what you guys were talking about, how in Revenge of the Nerds, he basically rapes the woman by wearing her boyfriend's mask. Weird. And you were basically right about soy boy. Vegetarian since 96 and came up with it around the turn of the millennium, before it was a thing/insult.
Nice. But now let me get back to me attacking you. Mm-hmm. That might be true. But in that case, I really thought you might be attacking one of our favorite listeners because you have a track record of it, man. Mm-hmm. So, shame on me for assuming that you were just operating the same way you always operate. Mm-hmm.
But why would that be shocking if I was attacking one of our favorite listeners?
No, but I still feel I got to be the white knight that comes in that case,
Scott, can I make a request. I'm going to request something. I don't even know why I'm asking. I'm going to request it anyway. Whatever you say. It's a rhetorical fucking question. Your microphone arm is like right in the middle of your face.
Okay.
And it's like highly like, because I'm trying to look at you while we're having a conversation.
I get it.
And like your whole face is just blocked by like a microphone arm. So you don't have to do it like, I mean, that's not great either, because now I don't see like, there you go. Like that would be perfect, and then you can raise your mic. See, our listeners don't need to hear this. This is like all stuff that you should take care of.
You can
ahead
edit it
of
out.
time.
It's fine.
I'm not editing anything out. So, any updates on the murder that occurred?
Yeah. He got arrested. He was formally charged, I guess.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Heavy duty.
He'll spend the rest of he's 84. Like, it just seems like a bad choice.
Yeah.
It could be like he had nobody to cook for him. So prison, like at least he gets 3 squares a day, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that was his thinking. I don't know.
Get away from his. Who did he kill again?
His wife.
His wife. And now what's going to happen with their disabled child?
No clue.
Awful.
No clue. I'll probably be over there like Saturday, not to.
He shot the wife? I forgot.
No, it was. They didn't reveal. Well, at least when I stopped paying attention, they didn't reveal the cause of death. She had facial trauma.
He probably bashed her.
And then she was found at the bottom of the stairs. So I don't know if he smacked her around, punched her up, and then knocked her down the stairs. I don't know what happened. He tried to reposition the body, apparently.
That's not cool.
Probably how he got the blood all over himself that he forgot to wash off before he went to tell the cops that it was his son.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's not
Piece of shit, man. What a piece of garbage, right?
Scott.
What?
At the end of one of our episodes, or maybe it was a Patreon episode, it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about it. I have like...
Was it something good? Because I want people that aren't on Patreon to hear how good it was.
I had a thought in my head. I wanted to talk about something, but I don't know if I really want to talk about it.
Right. So now, just like flip roles here. Is that something the audience really need to hear? Like your indecision on what you want to talk about?
I guess not. I'm rambling a little.
You know what? While you're rambling, I'm going to bring something up.
This episode's already off the rails, Scott.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to bring something up. So early on in our website career, and with the website and social media, I tried to post like every time we saw a new country like hit our stats. I tried to announce it and everything. So when last I checked, we had 26 countries. I checked again just the other day. Do you know how many countries we have right now?
I feel like we have way more than 26.
Yeah, because I didn't check I stopped checking probably like half a year ago.
Like 70?
52.
Yeah.
52. Now, to put it into context, for your mind to understand, that's an entire deck of playing cards, man. If each card represented a different country, that would be how many countries we have.
Yeah.
And I am pretty sure that is like all the countries at this point.
You want to hear an amazing statistic about a deck of 52 cards?
Sure.
Take a deck of 52 cards. Those of you listening can take a deck of 52 cards. Shuffle that deck of cards. That is the first time in the history of card shuffling, 52 cards, that shuffle has ever happened and will ever happen. Because apparently...
It's crazy.
Every time you shuffle a deck of cards, that is the only time that sequence of cards will occur or has occurred.
That's insane.
That's the craziest statistic I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to believe. Just by random chance, if you shuffle cards long enough, a 52 deck, eventually, you know what I mean? Like 2 decks will match. But no.
Well, eventually it could. Just because something has a 1 in a million chance doesn't mean it can't happen
It's not
twice
1 in a
a row.
million.
No,
it's
I know. It's like 1 in
in
ridiculous.
such an astronomical number that it's impossible.
But I'm saying even a very large number,
Yep.
it could happen twice in a row. The odds are like ridiculous.
Sure.
But so how would you figure that out? You have to go. It's like a permutation, non-replacement.
I guess 52 times 51 times 50 times 49.
You want to start doing it on your?
I'm not going to do
your
that.
phone breaks.
No.
Nice. You want me to name the new countries, man? I got a list of them.
Sure.
Real quick, man. Singapore, Poland, Paraguay, Netherlands, Nepal, Kuwait, Italy, Greece, Ethiopia, Egypt, Thailand, Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Romania, the Philippines, Norway, Nigeria, Kenya, India, Hungary, Denmark, Czech Republic, Croatia, Bermuda, Belgium, and Austria. Welcome to the listenership. We appreciate you. Tell your friends.
Well, I don't appreciate you so much.
You know what I was thinking?
Scott appreciates
when I
you.
first started doing this list, I was like, I wonder if Russ can come up with a wise ass crack for each of these countries. Like,
I'm just gonna lump them all together and say, "Fucking who gives a fuck."
fuck 'em.
Do they even speak English?
Well, that's probably why they listen, right? Because they understood what the hell we were saying. Why would they listen? So that's all I got. Welcome to the thing, and I joined Tribal, man. You hear about the social network?
No.
Tribel. It was supposed to be an answer to Truth Social, I guess, like an anti-MAGA thing, and it's like all the same things. It's just like more people screaming about the same shit. So,
Why'd you join it?
I don't know, something new. See if I can fuck something else up over there, because I haven't had such good luck with the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the.
When you say you haven't had good luck, what do you mean you haven't?
I'm like a spaz. Like I post things, it doesn't post. I don't know what I'm doing. I delete things I already posted.
And you think this new one is designed more for like your
dumb
skill
people.
set?
Yeah.
Why?
No, I don't. It was just something I checked out. I just heard about it, so I said, let me check it out. Just to see like
What's called again?
Tribal.
And what did you learn?
Yeah, the people are the same no matter what a social.
And
media
what
they're
about
on.
the user interface?
It was nice. It was simple.
I
It was
feel
simple.
like
It was nice.
I feel like this is something you don't want to talk about because I'm trying to pull information out of you, but you're the one that brought it up.
I'm just mentioning I was on it, man, because I'm not so good with other interfaces. So, but it's a little more simple. It seems a little more dumbed down for people like myself, as far as the.
I just learned about stars that I'd never heard of. So apparently the
Really?
James
There's only
Webb
like 5 stars.
the James Webb Space Telescope took an image of like these stars about 800 million years after the Big Bang. I guess we're still calling it the Big Bang.
Sure.
So these are a type of star that I'd never heard of. I forgot what they're called exactly,
So
but
you still haven't heard of them.
here's the basic premise. They're super massive. They're fucking gigantic. They cluster together, and there are black holes at the center of these stars.
What?
And the black hole lives off of consuming the star. And that is how big the star is. So in other words, if you placed one of these stars at the center of our sun, it would expand out to like, it would cover like our entire solar system pretty much.
Damn.
So like Betelgeuse, if you place Betelgeuse at the center of like our sun, it would like go out to the orbit of Mars, I think, something like that. That's how big Betelgeuse is. But these stars at the beginning of the universe were fucking so supermassive that they have black holes in the center of them. You've never heard of this?
I have not heard of this. So I guess, well, obviously they didn't start that big. They must have like accrued so much extra matter. They must have sucked so much in that they formed a singularity in the beginning, in the center of it. I mean, it's bound to happen, I guess.
So
I'm
going to tell you this. I don't even understand the physics. Like I kind of started reading it, but I was not in the mood for like, really like
No.
focusing on like the physics of like what's going on. But
big and lots of pressure. That's all you need to know, man.
big and lots of pressure.
That's all you need to know, man.
For what? For a black hole?
Yeah. That's all you need to know, man.
Okay. Well, lots of mass in a
Big.
tiny, tiny space.
I use simpler words. Big. Big and dense.
Now, let me ask you this, Scott. What's your favorite black hole? Is your favorite black hole a typical like stellar mass black hole, which tend to be smaller, right? So these are the ones that create like spaghettification. So like as you approach it, because it's like smaller, like it stresses your whole shit out. You know
become
what I
one of
mean?
them flailing balloon guys. The
What's
two
fucked
guys.
up about that is like it happens with your feet, right? So like as you're approaching it, your feet start getting stretched out, right? But because of time dilation, your head might not like reach spaghettification for like what seems like a while because of the way time is warped.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this, man. You said your feet first. That would happen to a dude like you. I go in head first, baby.
You just go in head first. All right. So we have that kind of black hole, and then we have like supermassive black holes where you can like go past like the event horizon. And eventually what happens when you start falling into the black hole, if you look out, you could see pretty much like the entire history of the universe unravel because time is so fucking dilated inside the black hole and it's so warped that to you, what might be a matter of seconds or minutes winds up being billions of years outside of the black hole, right?
All right.
So which is your favorite version?
I'm going to go with the supermassive. One, because it's got a super cool name. And two, I have a specific supermassive I prefer.
Which is Sagittarius A star?
That's Sagittarius A asterisk.
Why?
Because it's ours, man. Shit is ours.
Okay. That's, I guess, a fair question. I also learned
So
the
what's
other
your
day,
favorite, man? Here you go. Goofy reason.
I like the ones that just roam around. Those are fucking crazy.
Yo, man, you basically said like stellar and supermassive.
I
you
saved that one from-
threw this guy in at the end, man. That wasn't an option.
That's for throwing me under the bus with the audience for 73 straight episodes.
All right, you've done that yourself.
So I learned something.
Pulling out a Deus Ex
I
Machina.
learned something fucking crazy about a black hole that I'd never heard. And like, compared to like laymen, like I know a lot about black holes compared to just like regular average Joes.
You seem pretty.
But I learned something that I'd never known. Because light is so distorted and warped inside of the black hole, right? You see the back of your head. You could see the back of your own head. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
No, I mean, really, like you could see the back. You're looking straight ahead and you see the back of your own head.
Yeah, but is that what you see, or is that one of the things you can see, or is that what you will see? You know what I mean? Like,
It's
there's got to be a
one
lot
of
of
the,
shit
it's-
going on.
So mathematically, it is one of the things that you will see.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if somehow you survive any of this.
Well, right. If you survive any. Well, again, in a supermassive black hole, like you would survive, right? Like you wouldn't get stretched out like spaghetti until the very end.
So what's the why do the smaller, less massive ones stretch you out to spaghetti?
Because as you approach, like once you cross the event horizon at a certain point, like the gravity is pulling on you so fucking much because it's just a stellar core. It's like a really, really tiny point. Whereas like supermassive black holes are also like tiny points, but I think the actual mass at like the center is larger than
Much, yeah.
right.
Yeah, right.
So remember, the black hole isn't the actual like emptiness. The black hole is the clump of mass that's like concentrated into an unbelievably compact like fucking point.
They re-algorithmed the first pictures they had of that black hole.
I saw it.
And so it's a little more tweaked. But now
I
they
mean,
have
it's AI generated. I mean, I don't give a fuck about that.
according to you, we're all AI generated, man, right?
Simulation theory.
Yeah, man. So I'll say this, Russ, man. You seem to have been really sucked in by the whole story of black holes, man.
Oh,
You like what I did there, right?
Good job, Scott.
Sort of like these suckers got sucked into this book we're reading. We're going to get right back to the show, but before we do, we'd like to invite you to come visit our Patreon.
Each week, we discuss a new topic at the intersection of society and religion.
We explore the encroachment of religion onto secular institutions, such as schools, workplaces, and government.
In addition, we'll investigate whether religion practices what it preaches.
So, after this episode, head on over to patreon.com/Libel to Bible and join in the conversation.
And now, back to the show. This book we're reading. So
I got to tell you,
Go ahead.
I don't really remember any of the content from last week, but I remember it was interesting.
Yeah.
I remember the arc went back and forth. That was pretty cool.
You don't remember the Philistines getting
Getting all
boils
tumored
and
up.
like
Yeah.
tumors, yeah.
Yeah. I was having some radiation, yeah.
Then sending some of their cultures over to like the Israelites.
Oh, we didn't even think of that. We didn't even mention that maybe that's what it was. They knew the Israelites had better labs. So they're like, listen, here's your arc back, by the way. Could you look at these samples?
You might want to get yourself checked out.
And you might want to call everybody we were in battle with together.
So that's where we are. So we ended off with 1 Samuel 6. And I believe that what happened in 1 Samuel 6 was the ark came back, but God or Yahweh or whatever you want to call him, he sort of smited, smitten a whole like 70 people, I think, that were not like up to par for him. Yeah. They were no Samuels.
So I'm wondering, did God smite him, or did he have his people do it?
Did God
Smite those people?
Is that what you're thinking?
No, I don't.
Did you think that when we read it?
No, I just thought of like right now. Like, was it?
Oh, so
God
you're putting me on the spot now. Now I got to remember like what happened.
No, I don't think. I don't know if it even mentioned it. Like, because when they say God smites, is it really God doing it, or is God is hardening Rusty's heart to smite Scott? Like, is God actually getting his hands dirty?
Yes, Scott. I mean, God is getting his hands dirty. That was like the worst fucking Freudian slip ever.
Yeah. Why is my hands talking about my hands the worst Freudian slip ever? I've heard things you've said.
I called you God.
Oh, well, you see, I don't have yours.
Pay attention to the show, man.
Nah, man.
All right, 1 Samuel 7.
Why should I be different than everybody else in the world?
And the people of Kiriath Jearim came and took up the ark of the Lord and brought it to the house of Abinadab on the hill. Yo, fuck these fucking names. For real, fuck these names.
All right, we should rewrite the book.
They consecrated his son Eliezer to have charge of the ark of the Lord. From the day that the ark was lodged at Kiriath Jearim, a long time passed, some 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord.
All right, so I'll ask you this. Is Eleazar, is he a Levite? He's got to be Levites, right? If you're fucking with the ark, you got to be a Levite, right?
I don't know, I guess.
Could you imagine like the trailer dead behind this ark, and they're like, "Hey, Eleazar, I'm just gonna leave this right here with you. Take care of this for a second.
Well, look at what
I'll be right back."
Look at what it says. It says that they brought it right to Abinadab on the hill. So that shit's probably like all the way up, like on a hill, like away from everyone.
Oh yeah.
It's like at a high point. Yeah. So they're going to hold on to the ark, I guess. Yeah. In the next section, Samuel as judge. Right. So 1 Samuel 7, verse 3. Then Samuel said to all the house of Israel, "If you are returning to the Lord with all your heart, then put away the foreign gods and the Astartes from among you. Direct your heart to the Lord and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines." So Israel put away the Baals and the Astartes, and they served the Lord only.
So wait a minute. They got their ass kicked by the Philistines. They lost the ark. The Philistines gave the ark back with like gold and silver. Like, sorry about this. Sorry. So are they really under the Philistines' thumb still?
No. Why?
Because God's like, I delivered you from the hand of the Philistines. Put away the Baals and the Astartes. Yeah, we already got the ark back. I'm calling Yahweh out on his bullshit. Like, we don't need you, dude. We got the ark, and we got everything. We're good, man.
This is Samuel talking to them.
Oh, well, the
very first sentence. Then Samuel said to all the house of Israel. But,
well, it means even less coming from him.
So remember, it said in the very beginning that the ark was like in their house for 20 years. And I'm assuming some period of time has passed. And it seems like from the time that the Philistines returned the ark to when Samuel gives this speech, I'm going to assume some time has passed. Like Eli is now dead. His sons are dead. Samuel's been like judging or whatever he is. The ark's safe up on like the hill. And as the Israelites are wont to do, they have now taken to worshiping other gods.
Then Samuel said, "Gather all Israel at Mizpah, and I will pray to the Lord for you." So they gathered at Mizpah and drew water and poured it out before the Lord. They fasted that day and said, "We have sinned against the Lord." And Samuel judged the Israelites at Mizpah. Not much there, right? Why did they gather the water and pour it out before the Lord? Is that an offering? Like, has water been an offering before? I don't recall.
I think it's time that we start bringing in like a biblical scholar, because like a lot of these questions that you're asking, I don't really like have answers to.
No, listen, that's not biblical scholars we need. We need people that remember the episodes we already did. Like, I asked, have we come across this before?
Yeah, let me just recall Leviticus 13.
I'm appreciative of your recall ability.
Yeah.
So sometimes I expect too much, Russ.
Not to this
and that's
level.
my fault.
Yeah,
That's my fault.
I think so.
When the Philistines heard that the Israelites had gathered at Mizpah, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. And when the Israelites heard of it, they were afraid of the Philistines. The Israelites said to Samuel, "Do not cease to cry out to the Lord our God for us, and pray that he may save us from the hand of the Philistines." So Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. Samuel cried out to the Lord for Israel, and the Lord answered him. As Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to attack Israel. But the Lord thundered with a mighty voice that day against the Philistines and threw them into confusion, and they were routed before Israel. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpah and pursued the Philistines and struck them down as far as beyond Beth-kar.
So the Philistines are still like itching for a fight, even though they got like all scarred up earlier.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I don't know. The lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. I don't know. Maybe they just said the lords of the Philistines went up. Went up against means they confronting, right? It's warlike.
Sure.
It's not to like have a meeting.
Sure.
So all right, yeah. So they're knuckleheads, these Philistines. I heard history calls them that for some reason.
Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah and Jeshanah, and named it Ebenezer, for he said, "Thus far the Lord has helped us." So the Philistines were subdued and did not again enter the territory of Israel. The hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. The towns that the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel from Ekron to Gath, and Israel recovered their territory from the hand of the Philistines. There was peace also between Israel and the Amorites. Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. He went on a circuit year by year to Bethel, Gilgal, and Mizpah, and he judged Israel in all these places. Then he would come back to Ramah, for his home was there. He administered justice there to Israel, and built there an altar to the Lord. This seems like probably this would have been like a better chapter to end with last week, because it seems there's a sort of finality, right?
Yeah, I feel like so I'm going to tell you this about Samuel. I like him. I like Samuel, this guy. You know why I like him?
He hasn't murdered anyone?
I don't know about that. I'm sure he has. It's probably just lost somewhere. But in the end, like, he went around his land. He did circuits around his land. He visited everybody. He was a man of the people.
You think that's where Circuit Court of Appeals comes from? Because he's like a judge, and he did a circuit, and like judges sit on a circuit.
I'm going to tell you this. This is probably the first use of the word circuit in the Bible that we've come across. So, yeah. And the reason he's a man of the people is because if you remember, if you're judging, you're not supposed to be rich.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Did we come across that yet? No. Okay. How do you know? Should we get biblical scholars in here? Maybe it was in there. We missed it. I like the fact that he's obviously not rich. He doesn't have a bunch of hooey in his house. He doesn't have a bunch of things to do because that's the way he's supposed to be. He has time to go around. A rich dude wouldn't do this. So he's following the rules, man. I like Samuel.
Maybe he's on tour. Maybe like that's where he gets like all the hooas. Because like back home, he's like, oh my God, I gotta get away from the family. Time to go back out on tour.
Yeah, maybe.
All the groupies, like underage, like girls. By the way, that is not talked about enough nowadays.
Underage girls?
No. Very famous rock stars who are revered and praised and like respected. And the fact that they were fucking like 14-year-olds and 13-year-olds while they were like grown men in their 20s and 30s, that is not talked about enough.
You think it happened?
I don't think it happened. I know for a fact that it happened.
With who? Name one.
Name one rock musician.
Don't say Roman Polanski.
Jimmy Page was fucking like a 13-year-old for like years.
I think I heard that. I think I did hear that. Yeah.
David Bowie. All of them. I can name all of them.
Maybe we should go on their social media and let them know Libel the Bible's calling them out, man. Oh, so I went on Ron DeSantis's Twitter, and I went to I left a comment about like, oh, we called him out, so he changed his name. What I expected some hate, and then I looked at everyone who posts on Ron DeSantis's Twitter. They all hate him. Like it's like there wasn't a single person saying, "Yeah, he's my man." It's weird. I just faded into the background noise
because it's like all like Trump fans,
yeah, it really
and then
was,
like
yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah. I figured I was gonna be there, stand out, going, "Yeah, he sucks. Listen to the Bible, and everybody were like, and turned, but no, nobody noticed me.
I also told you, Scott, by the time you post, right? You post like 8 hours after like the original tweet went up. So it's like your comment is buried under like tens of thousands of other comments. No one's going to see your shit.
Damn it.
You got to like go to like new, like latest, like get on that shit like a second or a minute after like it's posted.
That's why I'm glad you are our social media expert.
1 Samuel 8. Israel demands a king. You want to get us started with that?
When Samuel became old, he made his sons judges over Israel.
See, he is banging.
The name of his firstborn son was Joel. Was it Joel? Joel? How do we pronounce it? Joel, not modern, it's Joel, right? I mean, Joel, right? Whatever.
This ain't Krypton, motherfucker. Joel. It's Joel.
Do you think they're going to kneel before God? The name of his firstborn son was Joel, and the name of his second was Abijah. They were judges in Beersheba.
Oh, shit.
Yet his sons did not follow in his ways, but turned aside after gain. They took bribes and perverted justice. Dude, what was I just saying?
Yeah.
I like Samuel because he seemed like he was on the up and up.
Right. So let me ask you this.
Man.
Maybe he was a little too absent. The thing that you liked about him, going out on tour, going to this place and going to that place, he's neglecting raising his own children. He put Israel above his own children, and this is what you get.
All right. Or he was such a good guy, like Donald Trump, and his sons turned out bad, like Trump Jr. and Eric. Like, it's just because you can't have 2 generations of good people. So it skips,
That's what it's
it alternates.
Like. Yeah, that's what it's like.
That was cumbersome. That was clunky. All right.
Listen.
Okay, I need to recover, man. You hit us over with
Scott, you know what it is? We're here. We're improvising everything. We don't have a script like other shows.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So sometimes people are going to see how the sausage is made on the show.
Yeah.
Then all the elders... Then all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow in your ways. Appoint for us then a king to govern us, like other nations." But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to govern us." Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from being king over them, just as they have done to me from the day I brought them up out of Egypt to this day, forsaking me and serving other gods. So also they are doing to you. Now then, listen to their voice. Only you shall solemnly warn them and show them the ways of the king who shall reign over them." Just like Yahweh always has to make it about himself.
Yeah. So Samuel kind of deserves this. I mean, I know I was praising him at the end of the last chapter, but when you these are Nepo babies, right? Fucking literally, like they were put into
kids?
positions of power because they were his sons.
Okay.
So you know what? This is more like Saddam Hussein's sons, Uday and Kersey, or whatever his name was.
No, I don't think the sons are the issue. Here's what's going on. So his sons are out of control, right? So the people have come to Samuel and they said, "Look, man, you're fucking old. So you got to appoint, you're going to appoint successors. But we don't, obviously your sons are no good. But beyond appointing a successor, we don't just want a successor. We want you to appoint a king. And that's what Yahweh has the problem with. Yahweh has a problem with the appointment of a king because he's like, I'm the king.
Oh, okay. Because I was like wondering, are we just a title change? Like, what's the difference going to be between a judge and a king?
So that's the thing. There really isn't one, but Yahweh always has to make it about himself. Like, what does he care what the ruler of men on earth is? There's still going to be a ruler of men, whether they're called judges or kings. Why does Yahweh have to be called king? He's the Lord.
Right. Okay. So if he maybe he goes by king occasionally, so he doesn't want.
I've never seen that. No. I've never seen him asked to be called king.
So if someone was to be appointed king, could he just be like Uber King? Like.
Of course, he's Yahweh. He could be whatever he wants. He's just being nitpicky in particular. He's like Jordan Peterson.
I don't know.
Just policing language and like
Who's
making.
Jordan Peterson.
Who's Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
All right, let's move on.
So Samuel reported all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking for him for a king. He said,
I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Can you start that again?
I don't know. Samuel, whatever, verse 10.
1 Samuel 8, verse 10.
So Samuel reported all the words of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. He said, "These will be the ways of the king who will reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them to his chariots and be his horsemen, and to run before his chariots. And he will appoint for himself commanders of thousands and commanders of 50s, and some to plow his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his implements of war, and the equipment of his chariots."
So he's describing a king, basically, so far.
Yeah. "He will take your daughters to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. He will take the best of your fields and vineyards and olive orchards and give them to his courtiers. He will take 1/10 of your grain and of your vineyards and give it to his officers and courtiers. He will take your male and female slaves and the best of your cattle and donkeys and put them to his work. He will take 1/10 of your flocks, and you shall be his slaves. And on that day you will cry out because of your king, whom you have chosen for yourselves, but the Lord will not answer you on that day."
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like a campaign ad. If you vote for fucking Bernie Sanders,
right,
you're going to be living in a communist utopia, or dystopia.
This is fear-mongering, but it's also coming from the Lord. Samuel's relaying the words of the Lord.
It seems like he's elaborating on like what the Lord has said.
I think we've had points in history where like people have kind of ad-libbed a little bit, maybe twisted, creative license with the words.
So let's be real. So Yahweh is basically like engaged in like a war of propaganda because he doesn't want a powerful like king to rise up and basically open up the eyes of the people to the fact that like Yahweh's shit and like, why are we following this guy? I can defend us. All we need is like a proper army. We need like proper mobilization of like the fields to like, you know what I'm saying? Like basically like a good a present administrator, a present leader, a present commander of the army. You know what I mean? No more of this like, let's call the army together like last minute shit. Like he's gonna like fucking line shit up like ducks in a row.
So who was, all right, so the daughters are gonna be perfumers and cooks and bakers. Who were performing these tasks before? Was it voluntary? Like people do apprenticeships?
So that's my point. So
like
everyone,
free will?
So right now, the reason they keep getting taken over is obvious. It's because they don't have like a central authority. No one's telling them what to do. So they're just like, they're like those idiots in like Age of Empires that are just doing nothing. You got to like direct them to like be useful to you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just fucking around.
Like stand around until somebody builds a castle right next to them and they don't move as arrows are raining down on them and they get defeated.
And those are resources that you're missing out on. So Yahweh, he's absentee all the time. And he doesn't show up until like 30 years after they've been subjugated, his quote-unquote chosen people. So he is completely threatened by like a competent king taken over, because a competent king will be able to defend Israel. A competent king will be able to like feed the Israelites. All of, you know what I'm saying?
What is Yahweh's motivation, Russ? That's the big question. If he's absentee all the time,
Resources. He gets his resources. He goes back to his ship. He does the fixing. Then he goes back into like his cryogenic sleep, you know, so he doesn't age as much, while like his robots and shit are like using the resources gathered from the Israelites to continue to fix up the ship. He's in cryogenic fucking stasis. And then he wakes up like 100 years later, not having aged, while the Israelites have been under like siege for 50 years.
Being a big fan of black holes and like time stuff, maybe when he's on his ship, maybe time travels at a different pace. So
is the ship traveling? Is he traveling?
Don't even know, man. Maybe. Like, why would you like just hang out above the earth, right?
Maybe there's something wrong with the ship. Wasn't that the theory?
We've had a bunch of theories that, you know, we can't really prove. But we probably shouldn't start religions over them, right? I mean, we can't prove them. Like, we probably shouldn't start religions over them.
I mean, I don't know. It seems to be like there's a lot of money in it. Yeah. Maybe we should start a religion over it.
Maybe we should. I'm going to finish out this chapter.
I mean, we can't even start a goddamn podcast and make money off it. How are we going to start a religion? Let's be real.
You want to talk about the chair that we had to, like, two of us had to wrestle with so you could sit on it tonight?
By the way, motherfuckers. All right, patreon.com/libel the Bible. Fucking scumbags.
Israel's request for a king granted.
All right, we're going to close out 1 Samuel 8.
But the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel. They said, "No, we are determined to have a king over us, so that we also may be like other nations, and that our king may govern us, and go out before us and fight our battles." When Samuel heard all the words of the people, he repeated them in the ears of the Lord. The Lord said to Samuel, "Listen to their voice, and set a king over them." Samuel then said to the Israelites, "Each of you return home."
So here's my only question at this point. Is Samuel the best one to choose the next king? I ask this because will he be spiteful? He's like, "Oh, okay, you want a king?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, good
and
point.
And then he appoints someone who's going to basically be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So I want to play this out like in like normal speak. So Samuel came down. He said, "Listen, the Lord said if you get a king, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. You're not going to like it.
He's going to be finger blasting your daughters. He's going to be doing whatever he wants."
Like David Bowie did.
Right.
So you don't want that. And they're adamant. "No, we want that. We want someone to take care of us. We don't want to think. We don't want to fight. We want everything planned out for us." So Samuel put his finger up, goes, "Okay, hang on a second," whispers into the Lord's ear, "Yo, they still want a king." He says, "Listen to them. Tell them they're going to get their king." So they're all waiting to hear what like the Lord said to him, and he goes, "You can all return home now." Like he didn't transfer that message. Like it seems like the meeting's going to break up after this. You're not going to break up a meeting like that, man. Nobody's going to go home until they get the answer they want, or at least an answer. Dude, man.
Again, you're employing logic.
I guess.
1 Samuel 9. Saul chosen to be king. What?
I gave you the thumbs up, man, because we both said the same thing in our heads, man. We got the name of the episode title, the title of the episode.
Do we? What is it?
Somebody better call Saul.
Oh, Better Call Saul. Nice. All right, good. I like it. Better.
But now they know,
Saul.
so you got to edit this out, man. It's not going to be a surprise.
Oh,
wait, they'll be listening to the episode that's already called Better. All right, forget it, man. Go ahead. I'm good, man.
You're right, Scott.
Yeah, man.
You're right.
Yeah, go, man.
There was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, son of Abiel, son of Zerer, son of Bechereth, son of Aphiah, a Benjaminite, a man of wealth. He had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man. There was not a man among the Israelites more handsome than he. He stood head and shoulders above everyone else. Now, all right, so this guy was a handsome man. But at the very end, he stood head and shoulders above everyone else. is that part of the description of how handsome he is? Or is that a literal, like he was tall as well as handsome?
It's a good question. So you're saying like maybe he wasn't even tall, just like as far as checking all the boxes, he was head and shoulders above everybody. Like,
So he had a son whose name was Saul, a handsome young man, period. There was not a man among the Israelites more handsome than he, semicolon. He stood head and shoulders above everyone else. I'm assuming they're just talking about how handsome he is.
all right. I'm going to tell you this. I already kind of feel bad for him. As a person who was born wealthy myself, handsome and tall, I know the trouble he's going to face, man.
Yeah.
Going forward in his life. So
The expectations.
yeah, he's going to it's
Being
gonna be
unable
rough.
to live up to them. Yeah.
It's going to be rough for him, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, you wanted to be the golden boy. This is what you get.
Yeah.
You can't stay gold forever.
Yeah.
Now the donkeys of Kish. I'm going to start over because I did not expect that to be the opening of verse 3.
Unscripted.
I didn't realize we were going to get into donkeys. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, had strayed. So Kish said to his son Saul, "Take one of the young men with you. Go and look for the donkeys." He passed through the hill country of Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they did not find them. And they passed through the land of Shalom, but they were not there. Then he passed through the land of Benjamin, but they did not find them. When they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to the young man who was with him, "Let us turn back, or my father will stop worrying about the donkeys and worry about us." But he said to him, "There is a man of God in this town. He is a man held in honor. Whatever he says always come true. Let us go there now. Perhaps he will tell us about the journey on which we have set out." Then Saul replied to the young man, "But if we go, what can we bring the man? For the bread in our sacks is gone, and there is no present to bring to the man of God. What have we?" The young man answered Saul again, "Here, I have with me a quarter shekel of silver. I will give it to the man of God to tell us our way." Formerly in Israel, anyone who went to inquire of God would say, "Come, let us go to the seer." For the one who is now called a prophet was formerly called a seer. That was in parentheses for some reason. Saul said to the young man, "Good, come, let us go." So they went to the town where the man of God was. You know what's going on. They set this whole thing up like Saul's all good looking. His friend's about to sell Saul's ass to this seer. He's like, "Yo, check out this beefcake I've got."
I gotta say, Saul might be rich, Saul might be good looking, Saul might be tall and handsome. Saul's kind of a punk, man. He's paranoid here, right? He's like, "We better go back. Dad's gonna be worried about us.
Daddy's worried.
The street lights are coming on. I gotta get home."
Daddy's waiting up for me.
As they went up the hill to the town, they met some young women coming out to draw water and said to them, "Is the seer here?" They answered, "Yes, there he is, just ahead of you. Hurry, he has come just now to the town because the people have a sacrifice today at the shrine. As soon as you enter the town, you will meet him before he goes up to the shrine to eat. For the people will not eat until he comes, since he must bless the sacrifice. Afterward, those eat who are invited."
Thank you. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
No, my bad. "Now go up, for you will meet him immediately." So they went up to the town. As they were entering the town, they saw Samuel coming out toward them on his way up to the shrine. All right. First of all, I guess because he's good looking.
Oh, so they're going to see Samuel. Samuel's the seer that they're talking about.
That's the big reveal, yeah. Or it's not. It's just Samuel just walks by. He's going to walk by them.
Okay.
Yeah, the seer's over there, man. That ain't me. I'm not Yoda. All right, I'm Yoda. The privilege of being good looking. This dude these people walked up the hill, met some women they never seen before, and "Yo, where's the seer at?" And "Yeah, right there." And gave his whole fucking itinerary to them.
Yeah.
An ugly dude don't get that.
Right.
They're not going to get an answer. They're beat it, creep.
Right. There's a fucking amazing episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's called Time's Up for the Gang. And it came out right after, like, Time's Up, you know, the whole, like, Me Too movement.
Yeah.
So the whole episode was like the premise for the episode was they had to go to like a sexual harassment seminar because somebody like reported them to like something. Mm-hmm. So they had to go to this seminar and they sit through this whole fucking long seminar doing all these different like, you know, sessions. And then it turns out at the end that like Dennis was the one that actually set it up because he's trying to like, for whatever reason. But then he breaks it down. And the bottom line is, it's only sexual harassment for like ugly people. So like Harvey Weinstein doing something, right, is not the same thing as like Brad Pitt doing or saying something to like a woman because it's going to be taken differently. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, lady, want a cocktail? Versus like, would you like a cocktail? You know what I mean? It's like one of those situations. It was pretty fucking funny. It's my just like you go off on your Family Guy things. I got to go off on my
go off on Family Guy
on my Sunny things. But that was a fucking brilliant goddamn fucking episode. Time's Up for the Gang. Fucking hilarious. Hilarious.
Why don't you hit us over with verse 15, man?
All right. 1 Samuel 9 verse 15. So they just saw Samuel.
Yeah.
Do they know it's Samuel? Or is this just for the reader?
Do they know it's Samuel, or do they know it's the seer, and the seer happens to be Samuel, or Samuel happens to be the seer? I don't know.
I'm going to assume Samuel's famous because he does go from town to town, so people probably have seen him. You know, there's probably images of him, right?
No king's been appointed yet, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so no, people know who the fuck he is, man.
All right. So, 1 Samuel 9, verse 15. Now the day before I'm going to start again. 1 Samuel 9, verse 15. Now the day before Saul came, the Lord had revealed to Samuel, tomorrow about this time I will send you to a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him to be ruler over my people Israel. He shall save my people from the hand of the Philistines, for I have seen the suffering of my people, because their outcry has come to me. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord told him, Here is the man of whom I spoke to you. He it is who shall rule over my people. Then Saul approached Samuel inside the gate and said, Tell me, please, where is the house of the seer? Samuel answered Saul, I am the seer. Go up before me to the shrine, for today you shall eat with me, and in the morning I will let you go and will tell you all that is on your mind. As for your donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, give no further thought to them, for they have been found. And on whom is all Israel's desire fixed, if not on you and on all your ancestral house? Saul answered, I am only a Benjaminite, from the least of the tribes of Israel, and my family is the humblest of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin. Why then have you spoken to me in this way? You want me to continue?
No, I want to pause, actually.
All right.
So Samuel reveals that he's the seer. Go up before me to the shrine, for today you shall eat with me, and in the morning I will let you go. Again, that would only happen to a good-looking dude. Yo, he's like, yo, baby, we're having dinner tonight, and you'll leave in the morning. Like, he's totally like this is like a sexcapade right here. How did he know about the donkeys, man?
So that's the part that I fixated on. I'm like, how did he know about that?
I don't know.
And why isn't Saul like, wait a second, how do you know about the donkeys?
And maybe he's being sarcastic. He's like, yeah, donkeys. And on whom is all Israel's desire fixed, if not on you and your house?
Right.
Yeah, we're all fucking worried about fucking pretty boy Saul's fucking shit. Fuck you, Saul. And he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it tonight. Go ahead, man.
1 Samuel 9, verse 22. Then Samuel took Saul and the young man and brought them into the hall and gave them a place at the head of those who had been invited, of whom there were about 30. And Samuel said to the cook, Bring the portion I gave you, the one I asked you to put aside. The cook took up the upper thigh and set it before Saul. Samuel said, See, What was reserved is set before you. Eat, for it was kept for you this appointed time, so that you might eat with the guests. So Saul ate with Samuel that day. When they came down from the shrine into the town, a bed was spread for Saul on the roof, and he lay down to sleep. Then, at the break of dawn, Samuel called to Saul upon the roof, "Get up so that I may send you on your way." Saul got up, and both he and Samuel went out into the street.
Okay, this sounds like a prank. Like he fell asleep and he woke up, they put the bed up on the roof. Like, why the fuck is the bed on the roof?
That's the premise for the Hangover movie.
Right? Yeah.
They're looking for their friend the whole time, like throughout Vegas. They forgot that they fucking pranked him, and he's up on the roof.
So you think when like Samuel said, "All right, there's your bed," Saul looked up and go, "It's on the roof." And he goes, "Yeah, that's where you're gonna sleep tonight, man."
No,
because it's all fucking about you, man. Right?
It's obvious. It's obvious that they like roofied like the food, because he told the cook, he's like, "Bring that portion that I gave you earlier. That's for this guy right here." So then he had him like eat. Then like everyone in like Samuel's house probably like ass raped Saul. You know what I mean? So Saul wakes up like on the roof the next day. His ass is like hurting. Of course they leave that out of the book, you know.
Yo, we haven't had a revelation in a while. This is the first roofing. When you get put up on the roof.
Right.
Nice. Bill Cosby was behind this, I think. I'll let you finish out the chapter, man.
All right, Samuel 9. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 Samuel 9, verse 27. It's in a section titled Samuel Anoints Saul. As they were going down to the outskirts of the town, Samuel said to Saul, "Tell the young man to go on before us, and when he has passed on, stop here yourself for a while, that I may make known to you the word of God."
Yeah,
there was no anointing.
Yeah, it was the anointing. Well, it could be broken up weird. It might be in like the next chapter. He was like, hey, traveling companion, why don't you go, keep going ahead, man? Me and Saul got something to discuss here. He's gonna get anointed. Yeah. Is that it, man? We're done.
For what?
With the episode, or we got some more?
No, we're gonna keep going.
All right, we're gonna keep going. 1 Samuel 10. Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it on his head and kissed him. He said, "The Lord has anointed you ruler over his people Israel. You shall reign over the people of the Lord."
Saul was like, whoa. I just came here for some donkeys, bro. What the fuck is going on right now?
You got the bonus package.
Has any of this been discussed with Saul? None of this.
No, listen, man. It's like every time I find myself in a position of leadership, I was like, I didn't want this. And I was always told leadership is usually thrust upon somebody. They don't go out seeking it, real leaders. You shall reign over the people of the Lord, and you will save them from the hand of their enemies all around. Now this shall be the sign to you that the Lord has anointed you ruler over his heritage. When you depart from me today, you will meet 2 men by Rachel's tomb in the territory of Benjamin at Zelzah. They will say to you, "The donkeys that you went to seek are found, and now your father has stopped worrying about them and is worrying about you, saying, 'What shall I do about my son?' Then you shall go on from there further and come to the oak of Tabor. 3 men going up to God at Bethel will meet you there, one carrying 3 kids, another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a skin of wine. They will greet you and give you 2 loaves of bread, which you shall accept from them. After that you shall come to Gibeath Elohim, at the place where the Philistine garrison is. There, as you come to the town, you will meet a band of prophets coming down from the shrine with harp, tambourine, flute, and lyre playing in front of them. They will be in a prophetic frenzy. Then the Spirit of the Lord will possess you, and you will be in a prophetic frenzy along with them, and be turned into a different person. Now, when these signs meet you, do whatever you see fit to do, for God is with you. And you shall go down to Gilgal ahead of me. Then I will come down to you to present burnt offerings and offer sacrifices of well-being. 7 days you shall wait until I come to you and show you what you shall do." Wow. At what point is Saul going to say, yo, dude, I need to write this down? What the fuck are you talking about?
Sometimes, like, I'll watch, like, a spy movie or whatever, and a spy is given, like, instructions or, like, an address, you know? Mm-hmm. And even then, I'm like, I would have to write the address down, or I would have to write the 7-digit phone number down.
This is crazy.
This is a tremendously long list of specific instructions.
And you don't think Saul at any point is like, I'm being punked here. Like, I'm like, this is like, they're making a fool of me. But no, he's been so pretty and so rich his whole fucking life. He's like, this is probably, why wouldn't this happen to me? Nobody does that shit to me. Fucking man is what I am.
1 Samuel 10, verse 9, starts a section called Saul Prophecies. Right? Prophecies?
Is it the Saul prophecies or Saul is prophesizing?
Prophecies.
Well, it'll probably be answered.
As he turned away to leave Samuel, God gave him another heart, and all these signs were fulfilled that day. God gave him another heart? What does that mean?
Well, he said he's going to be transformed into a different person. So he changed his heart. Maybe he wasn't feeling this. Okay. And then all of a sudden these signs were fulfilled.
So he's not like entitled rich boy anymore?
No, he's probably still that. If anything, it's probably reinforcing that shit.
When they were going from there to Gibeah, a band of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God possessed him, and he fell into a prophetic frenzy along with them. When all who knew him before saw how he prophesied with the prophets, the people said to one another, "What has come over the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets?" A man of the place answered, "And who is their father?" Therefore it became a proverb, "Is Saul also among the prophets?" When his prophetic frenzy had ended, he went home. Not for nothing, but it just sounds like he's like coming down off of whatever fucking drug was given to him by fucking Samuel.
Whatever he poured over his fucking head. Like prophetic frenzy.
Right.
Like he had a fucking seizure.
He started tripping.
Yeah. And maybe he seized a couple of times.
Saul's uncle said to him and to the young man, "Where did you go?" And he replied, "To seek the donkeys. And when we saw they were not to be found, we went to Samuel." Saul's uncle said, "Tell me what Samuel said to you." Saul said to his uncle, "He told us that the donkeys had been found. But about the matter of the kingship of which Samuel had spoken, he did not tell him anything."
What?
So it seems like he's hiding the fact that, like, Saul anointed him or Samuel anointed him.
So you know how we know Samuel's not the seer? Because in the Matrix, the Oracle was like the seer, right?
Okay.
When Keanu Reeves came out from meeting with the Oracle, Lawrence Fishburne didn't say, "Yo, what the fuck she say?" He said to him, "Yo, what was for you is for you and you alone."
Right.
So this guy couldn't be the seer, man.
Because Lawrence Fishburne he just didn't want to know that he was about to fucking get popped.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Do you think people like once he, you know what? Let's go on to Saul proclaimed king. I'm sorry. Do you have anything else to add about that?
No, good.
All right. Samuel summoned the people to the Lord at Mizpah and said to the Israelites, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt." Oh God!
Again with this fucking bullshit. Like, what have you done for us lately, motherfucker? Egypt was like 1,500 years ago, dickhead.
"And I rescued you from the hands of the Egyptians and from the hand of all the kingdoms that were oppressing you. But today you have rejected your God, who saves you from all your calamities and your distresses, and you have said, 'No, but set a king over us.' Now, therefore, present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your clans." Okay, if I'm an Israelite that has any knowledge of history, Samuel, I guess, is still considered a judge, right?
Why wouldn't you have knowledge of history? There's like statues that were built 2,000 years earlier, like symbolizing like the whole journey out of Egypt.
Well, they statues or stones that bore witness, like some random fucking
that's
stones.
the joke.
Oh.
The
right.
joke is it's like a ludicrous fucking, way to remember.
So I'm just thinking Samuel's still the judge. If he's now like, all right, the Lord has spoken. All right, everybody fucking line up by clans and families and tribes and all that shit. I'm shitting myself at this point. Because he's about to like strike down. You're dead. Fuck you, Benjaminites. Fuck you, these guys. Fuck
Right.
you,
The
these
earth's
guys.
about to open up under one of these tribes.
Yeah. Anybody else want a fucking king?
Right.
All right.
Then Samuel brought all the tribes of Israel near, and the tribe of Benjamin was taken by lot. He brought the tribe of Benjamin near by its families, and the family of the Matrites was taken by lot. Finally, he brought the family of the Matrites near, man by man, and Saul, the son of Kish, was taken by lot. But when they sought him, he could not be found. So they inquired again of the Lord, "Did the man come here?" And the Lord said, "See, he has hidden himself among the baggage." Then they ran and brought him from there. When he took his stand among the people, he was head and shoulders taller than any of them. All right, so that answers my question. Yep. Samuel said to all the people, "Do you see the one whom the Lord has chosen? There is no one like him among all the people." And all the people shouted, "Long live the king!" Samuel told the people the rights and duties of the kingship, and he wrote them in a book and laid it up before the Lord. Then Samuel sent all the people back to their homes. Saul also went to his home at Gibeah, and with him went warriors whose hearts God had touched. But some worthless fellows said, "How can this man save us?" They despised him and brought him no present, but he held his peace. Now Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had been grievously oppressing the Gadites and the Reubenites. He would gouge out the right eye of each of them and would not grant Israel a deliverer. No one was left of the Israelites across the Jordan whose right eye Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had not gouged out. But there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Ammonites and had entered Jabesh Gilead. All right, that was a lot,
That
especially
took a weird
for
fucking turn.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Okay, so
Yeah, let's break this down, man.
Saul becomes king in the weirdest, like, coronation, anointment, just the whole process. And why him? I didn't understand why him.
Yeah, so now Samuel summoned everybody up. So it's like when Darth Vader or the Emperor shows up to the Death Star and all the stormtroopers are laid out, all the families, all the kings, everybody's laid out there, right? Samuel, at this point, what the fuck was he going to say? Because he doesn't know that Saul was appointed king. He didn't know he was going to be the king because he never told him the story. So what was Saul going to say to this crowd before they brought, Samuel was going to say to this crowd before Saul was brought out?
And why is he in the baggage?
Yeah.
Did everyone pack and bring all their belongings? I don't understand. What does that mean he's in the baggage?
And like, is your head count so exact? Like somebody was like, wait a minute, somebody's missing from that family. And like, oh shit, where's Saul? Like, there's got to be hundreds of thousands of people here,
no,
right?
this is like, he knows he's looking for Saul. He knows specifically he's looking for Saul Samuel. So he's like, where the fuck is Saul?
I'm going to talk about something, if I can digress a bit. He stood head and shoulders above everybody. And he was, it's obvious he's the king.
Yeah, he was Menupol.
There was nothing to fucking make him king other than like he stood out. And I'm going to tell you, I've worked in corporations where I've met like vice presidents, and he was a cool dude. I'm not going to mention names, but he skyrocketed up the fucking corporate chain. And I was like,
good looking?
He was average looking, but he was like 6'8". He was a well-built 6'8" white dude. Mm-hmm. And every conversation I ever had with the dude, like I was like, "Hey, so what do you think the company should do to like advance this priority?" And his answer was always, "Well, what do you think the company should do?" Like that was some corporate nonsense he would throw out. I'm like, this motherfucker is only like raising, and he was brought up by other companies. Other companies grabbed him. He became like a CEO, and I'm like, the guy has nothing to say. He's just a striking figure.
He's tall.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Maybe people got to look into that shit too, as far as privilege goes, man.
So that's a thing. Handsome and tall people are given preference at like interviews and
Crazy.
it's
and the guy had nothing.
subconscious.
He was not a bit. I'm not insulting his personality, but like he wasn't any smarter than you or I. He wasn't even more driven than you or I.
Well, that doesn't surprise me that he's not smarter than.
You know, man. I'm trying to have a fucking serious conversation here, man. You gotta make it about you. Yo,
I'm inspired by Yahweh.
what if you are Yahweh? Or Yahweh is you?
Scott, don't tempt me.
You didn't expect to have your face
don't-
in the freaking alternative section of
Scott, don't tempt me. I already have a God complex.
So these people, so in the end, they all see a tall guy and they say, "Long live the king."
By the way, I know that you didn't mean to make that connection because you said I'm going to go off on a tangent here, right? But I'm going to use your clumsy thoughts scattered around in your head, and I'm going to use my superior intellect, and I'm going to channel and refine those thoughts.
Excellent.
And say that this is exactly the reason that Saul was chosen, because he stands out amongst all of the Israelites. So he was chosen specifically for that reason. He is by far the handsomest and by far the tallest of the Israelites. And so he became king. So that way, it's almost like the Israelites don't have to ask, why is this guy the king? Just by looking
Look at him. Why
at
are you
this
even
person,
asking?
it's like, look, he's healthy, he's tall, you know what I mean? It's obvious he should be king.
It's very easy to be fucking healthy when you got good foods and money to buy good foods. When you're not fucking snacking on potato chips
Sure.
on the fucking subway on your way to your third fucking job.
Of course, I don't disagree. Or if you're living in a food desert, like I'm sure they are.
But it's definitely a desert, right? But I'll say this, getting back to the tall guy thing, you don't think there's like a short dude that looks at that fucking guy and goes, he's going to be king? You know how many donkeys
Yeah, it says specifically in verse 27, 1 Samuel 10, verse 27,
He does
but
say
some worthless fellow said, how can this man save us?
Right. Wait. And you know what? Worthless fellows? And how could this man save us? They were probably asking better questions like, this guy can save us? Rusty, you know how many donkeys I found when I went looking for him? All the donkeys. This motherfucker couldn't even find donkeys.
Yeah.
And now he's the king. He had one fucking job that we know of, and he failed at it. Fuck him. Fuck Saul and his tall, good-looking, rich-ass fucking... Fuck Saul.
And instead of looking for a seer and asking people, where's the seer? Maybe he should have asked people, where the fuck are my donkeys? Have you seen my donkeys?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Where's the guy who can tell me where my donkeys are instead of me fucking actually doing the homework? Fuck him. Fuck Saul. Fucking hate Saul.
I hear you. Question now.
Yeah.
Samuel did not want to appoint the king.
No.
Yahweh did not want to appoint the king. However, here we are with a king appointed, chosen by Yahweh and Samuel, right? Or chosen by Yahweh via Samuel. Here's my question then. Is this going to be like a good king or a bad king? Is God going to like use this person as a meat puppet to do fucked up things moving forward to prove like you don't need a king?
Good question. It's almost like Yahweh wants now, because he threatened. Like he has to do fucked up shit. So Yahweh can say, I told you so.
So we're setting up for like a downfall of some sort.
And you know what? I'm not mad, man, because I think I've expressed in no uncertain terms that I don't like Saul now. I'm not a fan of Saul. I don't think he earned the fucking position he has. Fuck him.
And what about because he's a Nepo baby?
Yeah, and he's tall and good looking.
And you're jealous.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Listen. It's obvious I'm jealous.
Uh-huh.
I wish those doors were kicked open for me because of my height and my looks and my wealth. Of course.
I would give my life for 1 hour in that body.
right? I would just like once not to have to step on the bottom shelf of the supermarket to reach the box of cereal on the top shelf. Just fucking once I would like that. Mm-hmm. Fucking privileged mother... Whatever, man.
All right. So, I mean...
the last paragraph. I'm going to read the last paragraph.
Go ahead.
Now Nahash, king of the Ammonites, had been grievously oppressing the Gadites and the Reubenites. Wait, didn't we do this already?
Yeah, I read it. We haven't gotten to the discussion of this yet.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what I meant.
You want to read it to jog your memory?
Yeah. You know what? I want to because all right. So some dudes were like, "Fuck this guy." Who's
it's
this
an
guy?
abrupt like change of tone.
Yeah. You know what?
So I guess this is what I'm assuming this is. You know what this is? I'm going to tell you what this is. If this was a Marvel movie, this would be the fucking post-credit scene.
Yeah, because it really does not like. Yeah, you're right.
So like the movie is like the rise of the first king, right? Mm-hmm. And then the post-credit scene is like across the kingdom on the other side of the river. This is what's happening, and it's like setting up for like the next movie where there's going to be a confrontation.
I like it.
Between Nahash, the king of the Ammonites, who apparently is like taking out right eyes left and right.
Yeah.
Or just right and right.
Right. Right makes might. Oh, wait a minute. Or when he was like, but some worthless fellow said, how can this man save us? They despised him and brought him no present. Maybe they're on the opposite political party, and they're like, oh, yeah, Saul saved these 5 people, but what about over there? Nahash, king of the Adamites, grievously oppressing the Gadites and the Reubenites, gouging out the right eye of each of them, and would not grant Israel a deliverer, blah, blah, blah. He's, you know how like people that argue politics like to do that? Like, Joe Biden forgave student debt. Thank you. Whataboutism. Maybe this is just them and their whataboutism. Like, what about fucking Nahash over here, man?
Yeah, it's possible, but no. That's not what's happening.
You're right. It's a Marvel movie.
My question is this. If you look at the last line, but there were 7,000 men who had escaped from the Ammonites and had entered Jabesh Gilead, okay? Now, their eyes were gouged out, their right eye, right? So do you think when they are called back into battle to avenge themselves against Nahash, do you think their depth of perception is going to be all fucked up and they'll be like stabbing like into air?
They hit
or
a lot
like
of side,
shooting bows and arrows like all fucked up?
Hit a lot of side view mirrors against cars and stuff. So, but there was 7,000 men who had escaped. I'm sure if you take it how it is, they had their eyes gouged out.
Or
but I was
maybe
wondering
not.
if they meant that 7,000 escaped without their eyes gouged out.
Maybe.
And what, they got through the southern border? Because like fucking we just let anybody fucking cross the southern border?
Well, that's the problem. That's why you need a king. You need a king to make the Israelites great again.
Oh, right. And they're fucking like, yo, man, can you protect us? They're gouging eyes out in our country. Please. Can we just cross the border?
There's a caravan of Amorites coming.
It's swirling like a hurricane. Not an eye among them.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what happens next time.
I got to tell you, 1 Samuel has been pretty good for 10 chapters, man. I like it.
It's good. So I'm going to suggest to everyone who's still listening right now to go check out our Patreon. We're at patreon.com/libelthebible. Are we going to record some Patreon?
We have time. It's early.
Now?
I'm feeling okay. I might have to take a bathroom break.
All right. So we're going to go and record some Patreon content. If you're curious about it, like I said, patreon.com/libelthebible. Check us out. We're also on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on all the platforms. Facebook. We're even on, I should take a video of this studio and then I can post it on our social medias. Like a quick little 5-second video of our studio.
If people see this studio, they may be inclined to we should give them some money, man. Those posters from the 80s. Look at that fucking towel on the wall. The broken candles over there. Yeah, maybe if you want. All right.
Our Taylor Swift shrine for whatever reason. So I'm going to say this, Scott. I have tried listening to Taylor Swift. I really I would say a month and a half ago, I sat down and I started playing Taylor Swift songs.
Okay.
Her most popular ones. And I played 15 to 20 songs I played.
All right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm fine with that. I'm a big fan of 2 of her songs, man.
I don't get it.
Just 2 of them, though.
I don't get it.
Well, because you're not a teenage girl, man.
All right.
Wish you were. What? You stopped recording, right?
I could be. All right, everyone. It's probably best that we end the recording now. Say goodbye, Scott.
Goodbye, Scott.